Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna do something I haven't done in a while. I am going to talk about The Boys season 4. First thing first, when I talk about the whole season, I can't go episode by episode. I just don't have that brain. I'm just going to talk about some general stuff. That is kind of general. But first thing first, this this season of The Boys was a lot, believe it or not, a little bit softer. But the inevitable happened. Homelander got the power that he's been searching for. That only soups exist and people are the food chain. And in so many ways, it kind of reflects the current political environment we live in. If you don't like what I have, then I'm gonna force you to like it, and you're gonna accept it. And if you don't accept it, you're gonna get this annihilation or this bullet. That's the environment we live in. Democracy is just kind of hard. People want democracy by force, and America is not dictatorship. It is a democracy. That's what the founders of the Constitution put in writings. Now, they own slaves doing it, but nevertheless, that's how the ending of season 4. First thing first, a lot of problem with The Boys, a lot of emotional problem. Frenchie was doing all type of, woe is me, I did bad things, I'm gonna push myself out. Mother's Milk, I don't know what his name of the character, but the black guy for The Boys, the stress of running the show, and I always thought he was a good number 2, but never a top number 1. But he's close. A lot of conflict with family. I mean, granted, his ex-wife or whatever, yeah, it has to be his ex-wife. All of a sudden want to love him again. I guess you never stop loving a person when you're really in love with them. You just fall out of love and then you get back in love. But his intentions are pure. He wants to do right by his people, but he realized he's been away, from his family way too long, and it definitely has destroyed some situations. Butcher is just a moderate good person. But his intention is evil. He's kind of one of those people. I may be a bad person, but I have good intention, and that's how a lot of people operate. I got this good intention to do good, but I'm gonna do it any type of way, as long as the end result is good. And that defeats the whole purpose, because if you go and do what the enemy is doing, then you just a really lesser version of good and evil, and it's a lot of gray. But when you're about to end, your life is about to end, through a lot of things like my solo mission. Think about if you have just so many months left, what you will be doing some mental things different. Now, what was trippy was the guy that was, I guess he served with, was not a real person. I thought it was a real person. Then I thought his wife was the fake person, but living in his memory. But the moment he told her to shut the F up, I'm like, whoa. And then they started putting the pieces together, and it was all in his mind. I guess it's his own personal persona coming out. But once again, he took the drug, and now his body is not designed for that. But man, he killed the vice president. I can't think of her name. Like it was nothing. She was no lightweight herself. But he killed her like it was nothing. The other characters are pretty good. The Japanese girl, she's still reliable, man. She just deal with her own trauma, but she's a super soldier, and she can regenerate. That's amazing. It was good to see some old characters. Now I thought the Huey, man, that dude is the biggest punk known to man. Man, he's a punk. Oh my God, he's such a punk. But you have to change your mindset that he wasn't a fighter, he wasn't a soldier, he wasn't anything. He worked a regular 9-to-5 job, and like most Americans, they don't know how to fight or anything like that. And he was kind of thrust into this role, and he's doing the best he can. Starlight, she having a lot of issues, anger issues, but it came out that she, had an abortion, and that's always a tough subject depending on what your political alliance in real time. But anyway, it was a very tough time for her, and she couldn't quite get her powers together to the end. I mean, literally the last episode, that's when she was like, Homelander, believe it or not, in my opinion, he was a little bit softer. He was slightly softer. I mean, he still killed everybody because he's a cynical monster with a God complex, literally. But his son, very thing he wanted was power, and he felt like, I'm not going to connive my way. I'm tired of being this fake corporate puppet. Now I'm going to be God on earth and rule as a god. That was the whole plan. That's what the plan of the comics is, that he controls the government, and he just have puppets. But instead of like, okay, we're gonna be in the shadows and be false puppet, we just gonna stop all this faking and just take over. Man, I can't think all my characters. Fish Boy, he's still the big, kiss up, but he grew a little bit more of a backbone, especially with the Tolkien's CEO. I'm gonna think all these characters in a minute, their real names. The guy who runs real fast, I can't think his name right now. You saw that in last season that, you know, he was beginning to change, but he wasn't quite there. And this was the time where he stopped wanting to be a fake superhero, and and Mother's Milk realized that he could be turned. He's ready, and he is. Now you can't leave the 7 without consequences, I'm pretty sure the Wonder Woman girl, she gonna be back next season, because next season is it. It's going to be is going to be a war, and I can't wait to see what season 5 is. I hope they make it into a movie. I hope they take the last, they do the season 5, and this would be a good idea. They'll take it and make the last episode like a 2-3 hour movie, and maybe go to the theaters for it as the conclusion. It's a great season. I mean, their ratings keep getting better and better, and it's just amazing. Good storytelling, very imperfect people. This is 2024, and you have superpowers. So imagine all the conflicts that you have as a human being, and imagine you have superpowers, and that's what The Boys is. And of course, they all modeling the Justice League, but it's really if the Justice League went rogue. That's really what The Boys is. Homelander is clearly Superman, A-Train. I'm sorry, A-Train is the person. It's the Flash, Queen Maeve is clearly Wonder Woman. So it's gonna be a great ending to this great show. And don't forget the other spinoff is there. So don't forget about that. But yeah, this was a great season for The Boys, and setting up for a terrific collapse of the world. Homelander is going to die, but somebody good is going to die too, along with him. So, all right, guys, have a good one.